The Oklahoma City Thunder last night proved that them being number one in the NBA, having the best record in the NBA at 34-7, isn't just a fluke. They also proved that the blunders that they've had against the San Antonio Spurs this season were just a thing of the past. Because chill, last night they took care of them boys handily by a score of 119-98. Chat, the Thunder finally got over their bullies, and they really just took it to the Spurs last night. Now, if you guys remember, the first game of the season, the San Antonio Spurs beat the Thunder by a score of 111-109. A lot of people didn't think that was too big of a deal, but they thought it was a good win for the Spurs. The next game, at home, they beat them by 20, 130-110. And then following that, they also beat the Spurs again, or the Spurs also beat the Thunder again, 117-102. So the Spurs were up 3-0 in the series, but the Thunder finally got over their biggest fears this season, which is the San Antonio Spurs, Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox. Fellas, talk to me about this game. What did you guys see last night? And did the Thunder really prove that they are, without a doubt, the best team in the league and aren't worried about anybody?
I was watching last night and I was thinking to myself, I feel like Oklahoma City, I feel like they can be had. And I say that because their offense is so, their bucket getting, let me rephrase that. Their bucket getting is so predicated on them turning other teams over, and their physicality is a huge part of that. And if you're able to match that physicality and you can take care of the basketball, you have an opportunity against them. Mars, I don't know the numbers, unfortunately. I was trying to find the numbers. I don't know how many points Oklahoma City got off turnovers last night. And I felt like that was the difference in the I think that was the difference in the game, that third quarter in particular, where they started to turn the ball over. In addition to them turning the ball over, how much they converted on their turnovers. Their guard play hasn't been as good. I mean, De'Aaron Fox, 2 of the last 3 games that he's played against Oklahoma City, he was not good. He was good on Christmas, but he wasn't good last night, and he wasn't good about a month ago when they ended up beating them. Stephon Castle has to do a better job in taking care of the basketball. I feel like with Wemby, and I feel like with Wemby, when it comes to this group, he gives them a sense of security where they can play a little harder, they can be a little rougher, and they can be a little tougher, but they do have to take better care of the basketball. When I'm watching Oklahoma City's offense, that 5-out offense, it works if you got action off the ball. But the problem that Oklahoma City has is when we get this guard to guard screening where Mitchell comes to screen and tries to free up SGA 35 feet away from the basket, that's not that difficult to guard off the strength that, one, the ball is in front of us. And we know that SGA is trying to get downhill, so we can collapse the defense to focus on him more. And if we're able to do that and make Alex Caruso make shots, make Mitchell make shots, make J-Dub, make these guys make shots on the perimeter, I feel like you can stall their offense. But I thought that they did a good job of being who they are more than anything. So
I thought it was a big game for OKC. I know that post game they try to downplay it, like SJ said, it's not their Super Bowl and things like that. But you can make a case that all games are created equal in the regular season, but some wins mean more than others, Chill. And I think that they had to win yesterday. And I think you get that sense when you heard a few guys talking pregame about it. But to me, OKC look a lot different when J-Dub starts to look like himself. I thought he looked good last night. He was efficient. He had a bit of explosion. They're a completely different team. The complexion of their offense is completely different when he starts to look like himself. But I agree with you, Chill. Like, I didn't walk away from this game with the notion that the Thunder team is like invincible. If anything, it was the opposite. Like, since the start of the season, I actually think they've lost their aura a little bit in terms of that fear factor. And I think it's a big psychological edge in sports when at the start of the season, teams used to lose games before the game had even tipped off because they were just the fear factor that OKC carried themselves with it felt so large. to a lot of these teams, and I think a lot of that's actually gone. And maybe the Spurs
Damon,
are
do
the
you think
team that
that
showed us that, hey,
I was about that? That's what I was about to ask you. I was about to ask, did the
yeah,
Spurs take some of that aura away from them? Because, Ron, to your point, when we was talking about boxing, we was talking about Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson just looked unbeatable until he got in the ring with Buster Douglas, and this guy can be beat. And to your point, Damian, I felt like maybe the Spurs maybe have taken some of that invincibility away from them.
yeah, I think so. I really do. And sometimes when a team gets the better of another team or shows others around the league a few holes that can be exploited, all of a sudden teams are watching a lot of film. They're doing a lot of the same things. They're trying to exploit the same things. They're trying to try different things on an OKC team that might have struggled with certain things in the past. So I didn't walk away from it being like, okay, OKC's definitely got their number now. They just turned it on. No, I think this would be a great series. I think Wemby's still a matchup problem, even though I think he faded last night as the game went on. Um, but I would love to see this as a series. It would be a hell of a series.
I don't know if I'm buying this from you, Damian and Chill. Reason being is because there was no point last night where I thought that the Spurs had control of the game. It was no point. The Spurs actually were relying on Julian Champagnie to shoot him back into the game.
Yep.
De'Aaron Fox couldn't get it going. Stephon had a good game. Dylan Harper couldn't get it going. Wemby was hooping a little bit, and in the first half, Wemby kind of, he imposed his will. But outside of that, SGA started the game 0 for 6. J-Dub started the game kind of slow. The Thunder started the game slow, and once they got going, it was ugly for the Spurs. I don't
see, Ron.
necessarily.
I think what you.
No, I'm
Ron,
saying like
going.
You started by saying you believe that the Thunder can be had.
Yes, sir.
Everybody can get got on any given day, especially by a team like the Spurs. But that's the point that I'm making is this was against the Spurs. This is against the team that's had their number.
Yep.
So it's like J-Dub finally got it going. Chet played terrible. SGA was SGA. No Hartenstein. Now, I don't know if the Thunder can be had. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if I could just buy that statement that they could be had.
Well, here's the reason why I'm saying that, Ron, is because I'm not looking at them being had by just the Spurs. I think that's where the divide is. So I see them play against the Spurs, and I'm going, I see the flaws. I see the problems. They got back to who they were yesterday, if I'm being honest with you. I feel like Oklahoma City, when you have a team that's a championship caliber team, you have a team that's a championship brand team, they have an identity. The Oklahoma City Thunder's identity is that they turn defense into offense. And then they got a fantastic one-on-one player in SGA. And they got another guy who plays off of him, who also turns a lot of his offense, comes from defense. Cason Wallace, a lot of his offense comes from defense and comes from SGA collapsing the defense and creating open shots. That doesn't mean that their offense is as fluid as I think it should be in order for them to beat the other teams. For example, a Denver team that would put a lot of pressure on them defensively because they move the ball. And not only do they move the ball, Ron, they move people. So if I'm watching that game last night, I'm not watching that game from the lens of them playing against San Antonio. I'm the scout for the Denver Nuggets. I'm Houston. I'm Detroit. And I'm looking at them going, we can beat them if we do X, Y, and Z. I feel like we can beat them. Yes.
So how many teams do you legitimately believe can beat them? Because this is what I'm saying. We're saying that they could be had, and we're saying that they have flaws against literally the team that is the perfect matchup for them. Nobody else has an alien roaming the court. Last night we seen Victor Wembanyama do some things where it's like, yo, who does that? Like, Ox, that's literally like you going and playing against your high school team that you coaching. Like the things that he does, that's what I'm saying. The things he does, they're impossible. It's like
it's not like that, Ron. I can't play with them kids no more.
You're talking about your high school girls.
Run Ox ass out the gym. They will run Ox ass right out the gym.
Ron, I had to hoop with them the other day because one of the girls had to finish an assignment. I told one, I said, "Hey, you guard her."
No,
shit. Them girls is fast.
Are you at that stage?
So what you gonna do with Delsky then?
Can't do it no more.
He ain't fast as them.
Oh, got you. Okay.
To your point though, Ron. Yes, they have had their number, and you got other teams in the league that have better guard play. One of the main reasons why San Antonio played as well as they played against Oklahoma City, one, they stood up to their physicality. Two, their guard play was better. Three, they took better care of the basketball. They didn't allow Oklahoma City to turn as much defense into offense like they did in the past. That's the difference. And if you look at other teams in the league, like Denver, for example, they're not going to allow Oklahoma City to one, speed them up, two, to rough them up like other teams have. So I'm looking at this, once again, Ron, when I'm watching them, I'm not looking at this through the lens of San Antonio going, okay, we can beat them. We just had an off night. I'm looking at this through the lens of other teams in the league who have a possible opportunity to beat them. Like, I think that they can be had if we did X, Y, and Z.
And my thing, Ron, was I don't think anyone in San Antonio actually played particularly well. But this was a tie game basically at halftime. And then OKC needed sort of like a 14-1 run to start the third to really break the game open. And then even late, the Spurs sort of cut it down so much so that the starters were sort of still in with a few minutes left. So I think it's not always just the wins and losses. I think it's sometimes how you win and lose. And I think that OKC also showed last year in the playoffs that they can sometimes struggle closing games. So I wasn't. It didn't instill me with confidence when they let the Spurs a little bit back in towards the end of the game as well. But I'm with Chill. I think genuinely the Spurs, Denver, and New York.
So what, they got to win by 40?
I think are teams that can.
No, we ain't doing that.
They
Ron.
won by 21 last night.
No,
Jay finished the game. He started the game 0 for 6. He finished the game 9 for 9. J-Dub got it going in the second half. What else y'all want him to do?
I'm gonna tell you right now, Ron.
The thing is, no, go ahead. I can wait.
So as Damian was saying, Ron, that 14-1 run, a lot of that was off turnovers and transition buckets, which is who
Mars. You can sit here and let this go. What they do?
That is what they do.
I can see if this was like Andre Drummond hitting 4 corner threes back to back, and it's like, yo, that was luck. Okay. You know that's never going to happen again.
What you saying, Ron, is that they won playing their game?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they didn't do anything out of the normal. Like we're used to watching OKC chill. In the words of you, turn other teams' waters off. We've seen them do that time after time after time.
100%, Ron. But with that being said, I'm watching this and I'm seeing teams who are better this year. Denver is a better team this year. And I'm watching Denver. We're not going to turn the ball over. We're not going to allow them to make us turn the ball over as much as they did. The Knicks or
how many ball handlers do Denver have? Does Denver have more ball handlers than San Antonio?
You seen Peyton Watson?
Well, they have a few tertiary ball handlers. That's sure.
Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, superstar Peyton Watson.
Are these better ball handlers than the San Antonio Spurs?
The fact that they can dribble, drive, and shoot makes them better than 2 of the Spurs guards.
Are they better ball handlers than the San Antonio Spurs?
Yeah, they don't. No, they might not be better ball handlers, but their threats.
Okay, so if OKC can turn over 3 legit point guards, then they can turn over the Denver Nuggets. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, wait a minute. Wait. Stop.
Also, the Spurs only had 3 turnovers in the third quarter yesterday. So.
And those 3 turnovers turned.
Okay, he just blitzed them because Shea just went into I'm not missing mode. So
wait a minute. Wait. Mars, to your point, they had 3 turnovers. Missed shots could be turnovers also, and they forced them into a lot of.
No, they're missed shots, but
right.
Yeah,
but
it led to transition.
Sure. Right, and it did lead to transition. But to your point, of those 3 turnovers that they had, I think 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken, all 3 of them turned into buckets. So of that 14-1 run, that's half their points right there. Turning over the basketball, which is a big deal. Now, to your point, real talk about guys handling the basketball. I don't need Kyrie Irving. I don't need dudes that's super nice with the basketball. I just need dudes to take care of the ball. That's it. I need guys who can. That's it. I need guys who can not just get the ball at the court, not only get the ball at the court, Ox, to your point, but also make correct reads. I don't need you to be throwing the ball between your legs 6, 7, 8 times. I don't need you to, when you see the blitz, get off the peel. If you're able to split the trap, split the trap. Stuff like that. You don't have to consistently be super nice with the peel. And I feel like Denver has those kind of ball handlers. On top of that, you got a guy in Joker who can make reads when you got guys off the ball moving, which puts Oklahoma City on their heels. Ron, I understand them playing their brand of basketball because that's who they are. That's their identity. But I'm looking at this through the lens of other teams going, I think that this team could be had if we take better care of the basketball. If we take better shots.
You know what this is reminding me of in all actuality? It's reminding me of the 23-24 season in which every time the Boston Celtics lost a game, everybody would be, see, look, they can be got. Ignore all the data that's telling you they're clearly the best team in the NBA.
Yeah, that was
Ignore
crazy.
that. Ignore everything that they're showing you. And every time they lose a game or have a rough stretch, oh my God. And ironically enough, you know the team that everybody was hyping to beat Boston in 24? Denver. We're right back. It's the same
but
thing.
we're not saying
and Denver didn't even get that opportunity to play OKC. And just like I'm not even confident that Denver this year will get the opportunity to play OKC,
Denver's
depending on who they have to play in the playoffs, because they can lose to other teams outside of OKC as well. But to me, I mean, we have Damian talking about, he didn't like how they closed the game. They won by 21 points. Chill is talking about how, I don't know, Denver has these other ball handlers. The Spurs have better ball handling than Denver. So I don't even know, to me, if they can do it to the Spurs, they can for damn sure do it to Denver. But they didn't even win off massively turning them over yesterday. They won because SGA is the MVP of the league. That's why they won yesterday. SGA came out in that third quarter and balled out of control, and that's when the separation came. Also, something that's been biting San Antonio in the butt lately, and we'll talk about this as far as them in a playoff setting, they have some guys that you feel comfortable leaving by themselves or at least giving a very late closeout. Fox is an up and down three-point shooter. Castle, the same. Dylan Harper, the same. These same three guards that we do gung-ho out, and respectably so. They have a weakness in their game. It is some perimeter shooting. Now you can say that they were missing Devin Vassell. That is very fair. That's their best shooter. But you know who also was a brick that I'm going to be very confident will be a brick come playoff time? That number 40 guy, Harrison Barnes. That guy, I don't believe in Harrison Barnes whatsoever. So between Fox, Harper, Castle, and Barnes. Yeah, it can get spooky.
This is a lot of hoopla for a team that got spanked 3 times straight. It's hard, it's hard to beat a team 4 times in one season.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So I understand this. It's they beat them. So they can't beat us in the playoffs because they spanked us 3 times and then we got them this time. So I understand that it's exciting that they finally beat the Spurs, but. I mean, to your previous point to that, the Denver Nuggets I think are better this year, especially like just with their depth and everything. So I just think those teams, any of them can be any of them. So to your point, yeah, Denver might not even get there to face OKC. OKC might not get there to face the Spurs. You know what I'm saying? The Spurs might not get there to play anybody. We never know which one of those teams is actually gonna get to that point. Minnesota, we never know which one of these 5 teams in the West are gonna be the 2 left in the Western Conference Finals. I think any of them can knock any of them off. So it's just gonna come down to we got to see it. But I do think that for the most part the Spurs got their number. So if we're gonna just base
it's a tough matchup, Box.
Yeah, if we're gonna base this matchup on game 4 instead of game 3, 2, or 1, I mean, what are you basing on? Are we just I can
agree with this, and then Damian, you can take it from there. I do think that the Spurs are the best matchup for OKC, like better than Denver is what I'm saying. I think OKC has an easier time with Denver than they do with the Spurs. So if we're talking about teams that can beat OKC in a playoff setting, I am leaning towards the Spurs more than anybody else.
Everybody agrees with that, right?
Well, I still think I don't know.
Everybody agrees that the Spurs is the toughest matchup for the Thunder come playoff time.
I still think it's Denver, bro.
I think they match up the best. Yes, I don't necessarily think they're the best team. I think Denver's better than San Antonio, but I think that San Antonio match up better with OKC.
So, Damian, come playoff time.
About the Spurs.
Come playoff time, let's say just hypothetically speaking, the Spurs play the Thunder, and then the Thunder play the Nuggets in 2 separate series, 2 different universes. They both play each other in the Western Conference Finals. Who wins what series and in how many games in both of those 2 series?
I think that, and I want to be clear about this, even though from what I said before, and I don't know if Chill's in the same boat, but OKC is still the team to beat. Like, I'm not saying they're not still the team to beat. I just think that it's a different team we're looking at than a team that we were talking about at the start of the season, potentially winning like 75 games.
I just think that they're like 7 games up in the West. They the best team in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Let's not act like, okay, real talk. Just because I think that they could be had, that doesn't mean that they still ain't the team to beat. They 7 games up in the West, if I'm not mistaken, which is clearly the better. Which is the better conference. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Keep going, Damien. I apologize.
No, that's exactly what I was saying. They're obviously still the team to beat. But Ron, I think it would be a tough 6 to 7 game series with San Antonio. But I think they'd have an easier time with Denver, just because, to Real Talk's point, Denver doesn't necessarily have the paint penetration, guys that can get 2 feet in the paint, that can create. They don't have the very real 2-way matchup stuff with Wemby, that he can swing a game just by the gifts he has. I like what they did with Wemby yesterday in terms of like just parking guys like Isaiah Joe in the corner and making Wemby think about or second guess whether he can help on every single drive, for example. But I don't think it matters ultimately if SGA, to Real Talk's points, playing the way like he was playing last night, because he looked unplayable last night and it felt like it meant something to him to get that win.
SGA had an MVP performance last night. That's what
before we get into SGA, just hold that thought right quick. I want to ask Mars the same question. Can you give me the top 3 teams that, if you're the Thunder, if you can avoid, you would avoid them in this order?
Just in the West or in the league?
We could do the league.
I think they're probably all in the West, but just wanted to.
I do too.
Denver, Minnesota, San Antonio will probably be the 3 teams I'd not want to see the most. That's probably the order is probably Denver, Minnesota, San Antonio. I have too many reservations about the Spurs come playoff time to view them as the biggest threat to OKC. All 3 of their guards, well, 2 of the 3 definitely can't shoot. One of them is an up and down shooter in De'Aaron. I wouldn't be surprised if I see in a real series where Dylan Harper checks in and Chet's guarding Dylan Harper. I wouldn't be surprised. Wemby still has a lot of offensive shortcomings that I'm questionable about. I know for a fact Chet is not guarding Wemby in a series. I can promise you that's not happening. And also,
why not, Moss? Why
because
not?
he can't guard him, because he can't. And Shea's also just different, which helps. So yeah, I just believe in OKC more than San Antonio. Denver, I think, present a different matchup because obviously the Jokic part. Jamal Murray's playing the best he's ever played, which I think is a big key. Peyton Watson has found all-star form. And then you got the shooting with Cam Johnson. Aaron Gordon's a shooter now. So you've got defense at like this is like the best Denver team I've seen. Which I think, if you want to go off the bar of, they went to 7 last year and that team was decimated with injuries, this team is better. I don't think it's that simple, but I do think they match up well in terms of the advantages they have, although they have disadvantages that San Antonio don't have. Like, they don't have Wemby backline, they have Jokic, but they have the ability to have length, zone up, put multiple bodies on Shea, force OKC's inconsistent role guys to beat you from 3. I don't think it's far-fetched for them to beat them. And then Minnesota, I think, present a unique matchup with the Rudy Gobert rim protection. Anthony Edwards is a unique matchup in terms of the way he forces defenses to overreact. And then you've got Julius Randle, who can attack mismatches. Jaden McDaniels having the best offensive year of his career, in my opinion. Dante DiVincenzo is a shooter.
I love that guy.
My only real concern with them is their backup big defensively. And then obviously the point guard stuff. But I think they could give OKC some action. But I think Denver's the toughest matchup.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the check throw smoke and the host go ham. You ain't never seen hoops out here did raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. Yeah, this that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.